Hey guys, I'm Caleb Giddings from Taurus USA, and today I'm here to talk about 5 reasons why you should get a 22 like this Taurus TX22 or the Taurus 992. Now, what makes 22s so great? Well, obviously they're fun, they're affordable, they're easy to shoot, but here are some specific reasons that you should get a 22. And the first one is going to be because it's cheap to shoot. Look, when you go to the range, if you're shooting a revolver like a 357 Magnum or a 38 Special, you're breaking out 35, 45 cents a round just to go turn money into smoke and noise. And that's not as much fun as something like a 22 long rifle, where now you're spending nickels per round to have that same amount of fun, to go shoot and to sharpen your marksmanship skills. And speaking of sharpening your marksmanship skills, that's one of the things that 22s are great for. I've seen countless shooters that I've trained on the line develop a flinch shooting guns that are as light recoiling as a 9mm. Now, you take something like this Taurus 992, which weighs almost the exact same as, say, a medium frame 357 revolver, and you put it in a new shooter's hands, and all of a sudden there's no recoil. There's very little noise, there's very little muzzle flash, which means they're more likely to learn good skills of shooting than they are to develop some sort of wicked flinch or something like that. The third reason that you might want to get a 22 would be for something like one of these semi-autos, like this TX22 competition. In this gun's specific case, this gun has a very low barrier to entry to get into competition shooting. And you know what's fun? Competition shooting. Why is it fun? Because beating people is fun. It is, all right? If you don't like going to a match and beating one person, just one person, you're gonna have a good time. And with a gun like this TX22 competition, you can do that with a low barrier of entry and a lot of fun. Moving on to the fourth reason to get a 22, like the Taurus 992, is in this gun's specific case, it's more than just a 22 long rifle. You see, the 992 has a neat party trick where I can press this little button right here on the cylinder, pop the 22 long rifle cylinder off, and then take my spare 22 Magnum cylinder and pop it right back on, and all of a sudden this gun has gone from a 22 long rifle plinker to a 22 Magnum, which is perfect for things like taking small game, hiking around the backcountry. So that is a very unique feature that you can only get on the Taurus 992. Now, but what's the last reason that you should get a 22? Well, if you're a serious shooter like me, or many of my friends, you've been told your entire career to go dry fire. Go dry fire. Dry fire is how you get better at shooting. Dry fire is boring. I can only stand in my office for so long going click, click, click at paper targets before I want to pull my hair out. Maybe 10 minutes a day. You know what's not boring? Shooting a 22. You know what I can do with a 22? I can do all of the things with a 22 that I would do in dry fire. I just happen to have to be at a gun range to do them. And unlike dry fire, if I'm shooting a 22, even this Taurus TX22, I have to deal with the sights moving. I have to deal with some, not a lot, but some recoil. It is a more realistic trainer than just standing in my office going click, 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 click with dry fire. Especially with something like the 992, because I can set this gun up as basically an analog for my competition revolver, and all of the things that I would practice with my competition revolver and dry fire, I can do with a 22, where I'm getting actual recoil, actual noise, and I'm actually being held accountable for what happens after I press the trigger. One of the dirty little secrets of dry fire is everyone is a grandmaster at dry fire because there's no scoring on the targets. A 22 helps keep you accountable for what you're actually doing with the trigger, because in dry fire, sure, I can whip this gun out to the end of extension and rip through the trigger and be like, oh yeah, I called that. That would have been a perfect A-zone hit. It probably wasn't a perfect A-zone hit. A lot of times it isn't. A 22 will force me to be accountable, because even if there's just a little bit of noise and a little bit of recoil, there's still a hole in a target. So that's 5 reasons why I love a 22. The Taurus 992 revolver is one of my favorites. These are available right now. And the TX22 competition is one of our best-selling guns from Taurus USA. You can go get these right now as well. And I tell you what, I have 2 of these, and they always seem to be sneaking their way into my range bag.